Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Welcome to FaerieQuest and another episode of Real Fairies in Real Photos. This is part 2 of the High Bridge Disc Golf Course Trail at Memorial Park in Eldora, Iowa. And if you saw last week's video entitled Real Fairies in Real Photos, check out the thinking tree, then you'll know that I took 116 pictures at this location. That video I only used 4, so I thought I would be able to use the rest of them for this video, or at least part 2 and part 3, maybe a part 4. However, it ended up being only 3 photographs that I used for this video because there were so many in each photograph. So this time we have trolls, we have fairies, we have nature spirits, we have all kinds of really cool pictures, and if you make it to the end, there's going to be one that you just won't even be able to believe. I can't. So before we get started, use that magic wand and zap that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and consider supporting this channel by clicking on the link in the description box below. It would be so appreciated. All right, let's check out this video. Enlarging these fairies can sometimes make them appear disjointed, as you see in the above cropping. However, it also gives a very clear view of the face with eyes, cheeks, nose, and mouth, and the ear is also very prominent. And that is a dark hat on this fairy's head. What we can see of the rest of the body is not as defined, though the arms are easy to pick out. I often wonder if this is what happens when they try to disappear to avoid danger, kind of an in-between phase. This fairy appears to be running while carrying what I have called a package, which is slung over his shoulder. We can see his hat, his face, at least his eyes and nose, and one leg and foot. His knee is bent. Also catching my eye is the creepy arm and hand that has come up out of the leaves. Is it trying to grab this fairy's feet as he runs by? The 2 red arrows and the red box in the left photo show 3 fairies that appear to be of the same species. The fairy closest to the edge of the photo under the red arrow is too small to be enlarged well, but we can see his face and his hat. The fairy in the circle is the running fairy with the package that you saw in the last frame. He is of a different species than the other 3. The fairy in the cropping above is facing right and looking down at the leaves. We can see his hat, his face in profile, the hair in the back of his head, and his back. Like the fairy above him in the left photo, this one is also a bit disjointed when enlarged. Again, a disappearing effect? I really struggled trying to figure out how to show you this beautiful fairy who has blended herself so well with a downed tree. I decided to outline her as well as I could, so you might be able to pick out the parts more easily, as the moss throws a bit of a wrench in our visuals, by design certainly. Side by side, you should be able to see her, and once you do see her, you cannot unsee her. Her face is so clear with big eyes. I am guessing that she is of the troll species, though it is rare to see a female troll. She is amazing. Every now and then, I get beings like this one that are made of leaves or grass. My determining factor is whether they have eyes or not. If I cannot see at least one eye, I tend to not include them. This one has an eye. It reminds me of a swordfish in a way. There are leaves around this being, but none of them look like this. I am thinking that this being may have been entering into our realm at the time I took this photo, basically coming straight up and out of somewhere. This is another unusual being, which you might easily disregard. However, before you do, Notice there is a shadow beneath the mouth and a shadow beneath the upturned hand. This means that this being is up off the dirt. It has 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth, but it also has an arm and a hand that we can see. Perhaps it is a part of the tree and has come out for a bit of fresh air, or maybe it is using the base of the tree as a dimensional portal to enter into our realm. Not all of these beings are from Earth. I would say that this is a very good picture of a fairy. Now, the debate is he a fairy, F-A-I-R-Y, or a nature spirit? We can see his face, which includes 1 closed eye, a nose, a mustache, and a chin. We can also see a leg and a foot and wings. Oh, and a hat. This fairy seems to be leaning back, and I get the impression that he is laughing about something. Kind of like he is holding his stomach and laughing really hard. Maybe he is laughing at something his friend is doing. What friend, you ask? Go to the next photo and find out. I have lightened the cropped image above to allow you to see this fairy better. She looks like she might be doing a jig while flying, the way her legs are bent and her arms are behind her back. Look closely. We can see 1 eye well, and her nose and some hair. Her wings are also quite clear. Like her friend, I can't say if she is a fairy, F-A-I-R-Y, or a nature spirit. Whatever she is phenomenal, and so is he. I am not sure, but I think this little one might be a leprechaun youngster. We can see the hat, the hair coming down on the forehead with the tip between the eyes, both eyes, a nose, and open mouth. If you look really closely, the mouth has a tooth. I can't tell where the lower body is, so this one may just be exploring in our realm with just the head, maybe looking for an adult leprechaun. Definitely a little cutie and well blended, too. This fairy and his dog are, I believe, clear enough that labeling them was not really necessary. These 2 stuck out because they were illuminated by the light. We cannot see any bodies, but the faces can be easily seen, and, as is often the case, the fairy has on a hat. They do love their hats. It is obvious that this fairy is talking to the dog. Keep in mind that in the fairy world, dogs may very well be free agents, meaning they are not owned or cared for, and roam free. These 2 may just be good friends who are visiting with one another. On the screen here, we have photo number 2674, which you can see up here. Now, this is one of those that I just couldn't put it in one of the rectangles and call it good with just a little script underneath, as I've been doing through this video. This one's just even weird for me. And I have actually taken a lot of really weird photos. So we're going to be looking at this area here in the photo, and I'm just going to make it a little bit larger. We're at 50% right now. We're going to just bring it up. I just wanted you to see that it's an actual photo here. And we're starting to look at here. Do you see anything really out of the norm? I see this, which is what I originally had enlarged and saved. But there's more to this. When I went to put it into the video, there's so much more to this, which is here. So let me make it a little larger. Here we have a face. Here we have what looks like a broken face, and we have fingers as well. So this is what I was doing originally. So here's the normal rectangle where I would put the cropped version up here and I would write my script here. And as you can see, I've done the normal rectangle, and labeled. So here we have a face. We have an eye, a nose, a mouth. Here's the chin and kind of goes up and around like a normal face. And I don't know what all this is other than, I'm not going to call it hair because it goes all the way around, but it's some kind of auric shadow. Here we have a face, we have fingers. So here is the top of this mask type thing. Here's where an eye would be. Here's where an eye would be. Here's the nose. Here's the mouth. And I believe it comes down the arm. Here would be the elbow. And then up, and again, 3 fingers. Possibly a thumb here, but I can't be for certain. I'm going to see if I can actually even enlarge this more for you. Oh, not like that. Just, here we go. All right, so this is as big as I dare go, I think. But you can see the face here. No top of the head. And then the arm that comes down here and turns into the fingers. And she is kind of looking at us like, oh, they weren't supposed to see that. Or with surprise, did she come out of this, I don't know, I'm going to call it AI looking body? Her essence, her soul? This is one of the strangest things that I have ever, and probably ever will catch on camera. I would love to have your opinion on this one because it is really, really an odd one. And if you look at this picture here, it even is a little more clear. The smaller it is, because it almost looks more human in this one because it's little. Starts to look very boxy when you get a little bit enlarged here, but you can definitely tell it's facial features. And she is not attached to anything, or her head. Or maybe this is a look at the future for them. I don't know. I just don't know what to think here. So that is going to be it for this video. I very much hope you've enjoyed it and hope that you will comment on the video itself and this particular photo. Until the next video, take care.